back to our coverage of as we continue to reflect on the life of Pope Francis, who was the first Jesuit to lead the Catholic Church. Now, Jesuits are one of the Church's largest male religious orders, with more than 14,000 members. The group was founded in the 1500s and focuses on education and outreach. And the Pope, the late Pope, carried on that mission as one of the most well-travelled. He made 47 international trips, visiting 68 countries. Now, Father Sam Sawyer is a Jesuit priest and the editor-in-chief of American Media, a Jesuit publication. Father Sam is with me now. First of all, let me offer my condolences, of course, on your great loss.
Thank you very much.
The loss of Pope Francis. But, you know, Father Sam, we keep talking about, and I remember sort of from the moment the Pope was announced and was chosen, that he was the first Jesuit priest. And then usually in the next sentence, people talk about the poor and poverty and work with the needy. I guess one needs to understand that connection between the Jesuits and that work, that as seen through the Holy Eye, the Eye of the Holy Father.
Sure. Well, I should also say that I don't think anyone was more surprised to have a Jesuit elected Pope than the Jesuits ourselves. We think of ourselves as at the service of the Pope. We vow to be available to be sent wherever the Pope needs us, but we certainly don't think of ourselves as potentially, supplying a Pope to the Church. But I think it's that spirit of being sent to wherever the need is greatest, which is how the Jesuits originally, St. Ignatius and his first companions in the 16th century, how they originally put themselves at the disposal of the Pope was to be sent to wherever the need was greatest and to any part of the world where they were needed. And I think it's that sense of mission, of outreach, of being able to go to the very edges and margins. That's one of the things we saw in Pope Francis.
But it was this constant reflection on the poor, the needy, those, as you say, those most in need, that, I guess what I'm trying to understand here, and I know that you have the Jesuits have a fourth mission, which is to obey the Pope, which is different from other priests in a sense. But any man of the cloth will say, we're all about helping those in need. We're all about, the disadvantaged. What makes the Jesuits different and special in that sense?
So I think part of that is we're built for and formed for a kind of mobility and adaptability. So, other religious orders, certainly the Franciscans, and Pope Francis took the name Francis to honor the commitment Francis of Assisi had to simplicity and to the poor and to really living as someone who was poor himself, poor and simple. But the Jesuits are particularly devoted to being mobile and adaptable. And that allows us to reach people in situations of need and in new situations, in situations where the Church isn't used to how to figure things out or how to do things. So one example we see is the work and Pope Francis' concern for refugees and migrants. That's a newer situation, but one the Jesuits have always felt very called to be involved in.
Do you think the conservative church, the traditional church, rolled their eyes when a Jesuit was made pontiff and thought, oh, Lord, here we go?
Well, people have all kinds of opinions about the Jesuits, and usually as many opinions as there are people. So I think there was a certain amount of folks who felt like, the Jesuits are going to do something unpredicted or unpredictable, and Francis lived up to that part as well. But I think more, for as many people as might have occasionally rolled their eyes at Francis, I think he really connected with folks in the pews. I think he connected with Catholics worldwide who really saw his simplicity, his outreach, and his pastoral care, and really felt like he was almost, a parish priest for the world in some ways.
Father Sam, I'm so glad you joined us tonight to put all this into perspective. Thank you so much, sir. And again, our thoughts with you and your order this evening. Thank you, sir.